Welcome to our Thursday night live stream.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are two
Crazy
crazy
Ketos.
ketos.
Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, this is our Thursday live stream. Thursday live streams are just our chance to hang out with our community and answer questions about the keto or carnivore, proper human diet,
Ketovore.
or pretty much anything else you want to talk about within reason. If you have a question, go ahead and type question.
What you got?
And then whatever your question is, or use the super chat function, which is little dollar sign down in the chat window. That does two things. Number one, it does benefit the channel. We really appreciate that. This is our full-time job. But more importantly, it highlights our screen and lets us know that you have a question.
I have an answer in case someone has a question. If the question is, did our house actually sell on Monday?
Yes, it did.
It did. Praise the Lord. We are so thankful. I actually gave a shout out on Instagram to our realtor, Steven. I want to call him Stevie because I've known him for so long. And of course, we always called him Stevie when he was a little kid.
He's still Stevie.
Now he's a grown man. He did such a great job. And so, you know, it's typical. I think
got us a full price offer the day it went up for sale.
Day one. And so if you're in the South Florida area and you're looking for a realtor, don't underestimate Stevie like we did. Go ahead and just go straight to him because I think that would be smart. But it was funny. So I was talking to our youngest son, Caleb, today. And I said, Stevie sent us cheese. He sent us a gift basket with like a whole bunch of cheese.
I was wondering what he put in there because I saw this thing from Federal Express that says like, hey, you're getting like a package from some basket company. And I'm like, who the heck has our address here? Who is sending us something? And so I went to, it's like 1-800-baskets.com or something like that. And I went on there and it's all like cookie baskets. And I'm like, what could they possibly be sending us that we're going to enjoy?
And it was so cute because, well, and Stevie had done like Carnivore for a month and had like amazing health results with it. And so he just checked in with Caleb and was like, are your parents okay with cheese? And he's like, have you met my father? Yes, he's fine with cheese.
So welcome to the channel. Little update. If people keep asking like what's going on with the house, kitchen cabinets, I have 4 left to assemble.
Ooh, praise the Lord.
The kitchen has been textured and painted. Our bedroom is textured. Tomorrow I'll be priming it and then we'll be painting it. And then my offices, by the end of next week, we should have our bedroom and my office completely done, like flooring and everything. I can do the flooring in less than a day.
I am getting so excited. Yeah. Like I am really getting excited.
Then we have to start putting the kitchen cabinets together. I was going to do it this weekend, but we are actually going over to see John Paul, Michelle, and Peyton on Saturday.
Yeah, so we had gotten some dirt put down for our driveway, which is colossal. But it was scaring me how many potholes were in our driveway. And I thought, man, nobody's ever going to want to visit us because it's like seems dangerous. So we got sand put down or dirt put down for that.
It's milling. So it's basically, you know, you ever watch them do road work?
Right.
When they are going to repave, they scrape up the old pavement. That's basically recycled blacktop. So it's not put down hot. It's put down and then they compact it. And then we ordered some more stone to go along the edge because it's not down with hot tar and hot asphalt or anything, but significantly cheaper than hot asphalt. And it's like $2 a square foot. But we have 370 feet of driveway. Multiply that by 10 feet wide. It could get a little expensive.
And it's been nice because we've been the ones that have been able to like shovel and rake all of the rock up against it. Like, when you get some sort of functional fitness from yard work and stuff and home repair under your belt, do you feel as successful as I do?
Yeah.
That we can do these things ourselves?
Yep.
I feel pretty good.
The other thing that happened this week is we ordered a shed. So we're within
studio.
So we're going to have a studio soon. It's going to take about a month and then I have to do the inside, but we'll probably move filming in there even while I'm still doing the inside of it. Because I'll probably pause the in the house just to get some sheetrock up in it. And then we're going to be having a studio. So super excited about, you know, things are starting to move forward. You know, there's a little bit, you know, of things that need to be done.
We've been in a stall.
You know, we have to go up to Elkhart the very end of March into April, but by then we should be far into things. So super excited about that. Let's
Dustin.
get into questions. First of all, we have a super chat. Thank you very much,
Thanks,
Dustin, for the
Dustin.
$5 super chat. Said wanted to show some love. Looking forward to April 1st, Northern Indiana meetup. Hopefully it all works out.
Definitely. I'm so looking forward to it.
That's actually news to me. I know Miriam was trying to do something. So
Miriam's helping with
we're supposed to pick up our new RV if everything goes well on March 31st, and then we'll probably stay there till like April 2nd or 3rd, and then come back down here so we can get back to work. Actually, we're gonna have to get home because we have 25 cross Cornish hens coming, but I found out today they are not, because of the cold in Ohio, and that's where they're coming from. They will not be shipped until, I think he said, February 14th.
Oh, because we thought we were going to get
We thought we were going to come this
Wednesday.
week or next week, but because of the cold, they've delayed it.
Okay.
And so like mid-February, and you're going to butcher them around 7 to 8 weeks. So I was hoping to get them butchered before we leave. So now we'll butcher them when we get back.
Okay.
So
something to look forward to.
That'll actually be good because it'll give them an extra week. I was going to butcher them around 6 to 7 weeks. So instead we're going to butcher them at 8 weeks. So we should end up with 25 like nice 5-6 pound birds. Looking forward to it, especially, with the shortage of chicken and stuff. I've seen people talk about egg prices. Why are they so high? Because they killed over 1 million birds.
Yeah.
And if you know anything about chickens, it takes 4 to 6 months when you get a brand new hen, like the one that's in Rachel's hand, 4 to 6 months for this thing to start giving us big eggs. So
why would I have a chicken in my lap? That's so weird. They've
got to replenish the bird supply. And for us, we're just trying to be self-sustainable. So fortunately, the egg shortage doesn't really affect us because we have our own birds. And now we want to do meat birds because I do like to eat chicken. Yeah. And so, if we have that, because, killing birds for bird flu also impacts chicken itself.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
So,
yeah.
Okay, let's get into here. Brandon said, no way I could stay awake, catch the replay tomorrow.
Well, glad to see you for as long as you're here.
Pam said, I live in Wisconsin. Couldn't believe our temperature today. It went up to 59. It's unheard of in January. I was loving it. It was warm here today.
I was teasing somebody today that was saying like, oh my gosh, we have, weather in the 50s after just Arctic blast. And a PSA, and I'm just going to put this out for everybody. Like, since it is not in the negatives, it's in the 50s. Like, guys, we need to, if we're going to go in the pool, you're going to go in, like, it's a sunny summer day at 59 degrees. Make sure you shave, okay? Because, like, sometimes after a long stint of not having to shave, we just don't. And we get in that bathing suit, and now it's an awkward first swim for everybody. This is, ask me how I know. So make sure you shave.
Chris said, what if I have an unreasonable question? Have you met Rachel?
There is none. There's absolutely none. I have literally, like, someone said, hey, what kind of underwear? And I could have just answered with an actual answer. This was an in-person situation. And I just literally pulled up my shirt and showed them like what my underwear looks like.
Raj said, so your house was probably priced too low. No, we were priced right in the market.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, it was God.
Yeah, seriously.
Because, we just got it right in there because honestly, even after we had a few showings after we got the offer and before, but really there was not a lot of interest in the month that we were waiting, and the price in the community has come down a little bit. So I think we just got it sold right at the right time.
So thankful.
And I know the owners that bought it were really excited about it. And for us, we knew it needed work. We bought it at a time where the market wasn't horrible. It had just come down. And listen, in my personal opinion, the house wasn't worth what it sold for, considering when it was built and everything else. But South Florida's real estate market has gone insane.
Yeah.
But we literally were able to, we paid for this property what we paid for that property 9 years ago.
So the only thing I will say is it has weathered many storms.
Yes.
It has weathered many storms. So it ain't going anywhere. And I mean, that's very exciting. And for that area, when you're in like places where there's a lot of just like 0 lot line houses and you're trying to raise a family, we were really thankful that it was on a corner lot and we had, 3 boys and they still had like space in the backyard. That was really
it
sweet.
does, as we've talked about, it needs some work.
Sure.
The kitchen really needs to be completely redone. The screen house, there's some work to do, but I know that they're going to be blessed by it. So Dewey has a question, said, I'm not
Dewey.
keto or carnivore, but I am
okay.
low carb.
Sure.
I've had weight loss surgery. What is the best website or app to use other than Aha? Okay. So when you talk about you're looking for an app or a website, what exactly are you trying to get out of it? Just because you're not keto or carnivore, you're low carb,
Sure.
our community is a great place to be. I mean, we have vegans in our community.
Sure.
We are about community, but we're also about education. And listen, the common enemy is no, don't eat the overly processed foods. Don't eat the sugar and all of the pastas, the grains, the starches. Here's the thing. If you're new to keto, or if you're maybe even, or low carb, or, you're just kind of like testing the waters, something I want everybody to understand, and people that eat the standard American diet don't understand this. You'll see people on the standard American diet say, well, of course you shouldn't eat sugar. Sugar is bad for you. When you eat high starch foods, when you eat especially things like pastas and grains, all of that is just like eating sugar. I know it sounds weird, but your body immediately turns those carbohydrates into sugar for fuel. So when you eat bread, if you go and eat a loaf of white bread, you're eating sugar. It was very eye-opening for me when I got into this lifestyle, when I became a certified master health coach. One of the things that was shocking to me was when our kids were little, we were always like, don't eat that jelly donut. That's horrible for you for breakfast. Let me give you some cereal, even like cornflakes. But your body ends up using the cornflakes just like the jelly donut.
Yeah.
And now looking back, I should have just let him have the donut. I mean, I shouldn't have let him have either, but there was no difference. There really was no difference. When you look at the carbohydrate and the sugar content between having a bowl of cereal and then also, by the way, the milk, which is loaded with sugar, and we gave them skim milk, which is even worse.
Right.
I should have just let them eat the jelly donut.
We went for the gold.
There's no difference. But you can get a lot of information here. So I don't know what kind of app if you're looking for something to track macros, the thing that I'm always going to recommend to track what you're eating, we're not huge proponents of always tracking, but I think it's good at certain times, would be Chronometer or Chronometer, however people want to pronounce it.
They have a free version.
The reason there's a link for it down below. They have a free and a paid version. I really like the paid version because it's not super expensive and you don't have ads, but then it gives you some extra features. But what's nice about it is that the information that's in there is verified. The one that I'm always going to recommend do not use for tracking and looking up information about food is MyFitnessPal. MyFitnessPal can be a good tool, but as far as the foods that are in there, a lot of the information is wrong because it allows you and I to basically manipulate and change it. So, for example, we count all carbs. You have something like erythritol. Erythritol has 4 carbs per teaspoon. Okay, so there's 4 carbs per teaspoon in erythritol. But many people in the keto lifestyle don't count those carbs. So you will see people go in there and say,
oh, it's none.
Wholesome foods, allulose, 0 carbs.
Right.
But that's not true.
Yeah.
And so now you go and enter it and you're putting in the wrong information. You'll see people put in heavy whipping cream is 0 carbs. Well, heavy whipping cream is not 0 carbs. It's 0.413 carbs per tablespoon. So when you only have 1 tablespoon, it's going to round down to 0 on a label. But if you have a half a cup of it throughout the day, you're having 3.5 carbs. So that's why I never recommend MyFitnessPal. But, you know, any app will help you as far as tracking and stuff like that. As far as what to eat, if you're just eating low carb, not necessarily keto, whole foods, focus on meat, keep your total carbs under 100 total carbs for the day.
Yeah.
Now, that is not for keto or carnivore. That is just if you're going to be low carb.
Low carb.
But you should still be focusing on meat.
Yeah.
And stay under 100 total carbs per day and avoid overly processed foods. I would avoid high sugar fruits and things like that, like watermelon, one of the worst, pineapple, one of the worst, and then, you know, avoid sugar and stuff like that. So hopefully that helps you. Matt said, I had a great time on the farm helping to build cabinets.
Thank you guys
thank
for
you everybody
coming.
for who did that.
That was so nice.
Sean, thanks for the $10 super chat.
Sean.
And I wanted to thank you for the help. My fasting blood sugars have been in the 90s for the past few days. I'm really learning a lot about what works for me. You two are the best. I'm really glad we can help. Yeah,
awesome.
And that is what happens is a lot of people start eating carnivore and they're like, why is my glucose high? And a lot of times it is because they're just simply not consuming enough fats. They're consuming too much protein and not enough fat. And that fat, you know, if you're not consuming enough fat, then your body will turn that protein into glucose. So just cutting that protein down that little bit, increasing that fat a lot of times helps. And especially finishing the day with some fat. Jennifer said Keto Chow crack flavors back in stock.
It's back, baby.
So glad I ate my last one yesterday. They don't raise my blood sugars, but one bar has 3 servings for me, a type 1 diabetic.
Yeah, check. We do have a link if you're interested in getting the keto crack.
Liz says, is anybody here cheaping? Yes, somebody is
maybe
holding a chicken. Kathy said, do you worry about your chickens getting bird flu? No, because they're free range and they're not around other birds and stuff like that.
No, they don't.
You know, that bird flu comes when you've got thousands and thousands and thousands of birds in this little tiny area. I am not worried about it at all.
We are also very diligent about introducing like the flock to each other, like in a very safe way. Even so we have these little babies, and we have what I call our teenagers, and those are ones that are like 3 or 4 months old, and they are not together with our larger chickens. So, you know, like our full grown egg laying chickens. So
but they're all from here on the farm.
They're from here on the farm. And, but we try to make sure that, like we keep everybody separated for safety. And then also if there's an animal that looks like it's not feeling well, we always like make sure that we keep them away from the other animals. You've got to have a place where you can quarantine them.
Well, we really don't have any sick birds or anything like that. But,
and then also,
and we're not bringing in outside birds. That's one of the things. So everything we have now, like all of these, we have 22 babies down here.
Right.
They are all the offspring of our chickens.
Yes.
Somebody asked, is that a black Astrolor? No.
No,
so
this is actually
the dads are all Barred Rocks, Plymouth Barred Rocks. So because we only have 2 male roosters, and then we have.
Well, this is probably a complete Barred Rock, actually.
Because we have a few Barred Rocks. We have some Easter eggers.
We have
some Brahmas. So, you know, we'll see what he or she looks like. I do not sex them because I'm not going to sit there and try to open up their vent and hurt them.
Right.
But we know half of it is going to be a Plymouth Barred Rock, but we don't know what the other half is.
Well, this one is going to be a Barred Rock, totally. I could just,
you think so?
It's a textbook one. We do have some that look very similar, only they've got, feathers on their feet that indicate to me that mama was a Brahma. Your Brahma, your mama was a Brahma.
Dewey, thanks for the $4.99 super chat. Who said thank you?
Thank you.
Renee said, I can't wait until all our gars start laying again. Yeah, we are really blessed. We're getting about a dozen a day right now.
Right. And so it's been neat. I do have, oh my goodness.
We have 40 babies, by the way, in the incubator, which we have to candle them tomorrow.
Right.
But we'll sell those. That helps pay for some of the feed and stuff like that, because we can sell the babies for like $3, $4 a piece.
We do have, I'm almost completely certain that we have some Indian giants.
Yeah.
Also.
And if we can sell those, they're worth about $75 to $100
They
per chicken.
are velociraptors. They are like the biggest teenager chickens I've ever seen. Like so I finally allowed like our teenagers, these Indian giants, to like be able to come out of their run a little bit, have just a little bit more freedom. And they're staying very close to their run because they're nervous about entering the world. And so our turkeys, who are very inquisitive, and watch them, I shared how they like come and checked on the babies when they were just first here. And some of those Indian giants went right up to the turkey like, hey, what? And I mean, kind of just like pecked at him, like trying to establish dominance over a giant turkey. I was like, gracious.
Okay, so Dewey has another question. He said, besides AHA, what's a good resource to figure out ideal body weight?
Okay.
I plan on dropping to 200 and then I start maintenance when I hit that magic number. Okay, so couple things, Dewey. Number one, don't focus on a number.
Yeah.
Okay, because there's a few reasons. Because you have a lot of body change, especially if you're eating keto, carnivore, low carb, any of that. You're going to have a lot of health improvements. When you're cutting out the sugar and the pastas and the grains, you're going to have a lot of health improvements. You're going to have a lot of body transformation. And I've always been somebody who's focused on numbers.
Right.
But here's the thing. So I weigh about 185 pounds. I would love to look like The Rock. Okay?
But he's not 185
pounds.
But
The Rock, I'd have to be willing to see like a 270 pound number on the scale. So that's why I say don't really focus on amount. Focus on size. I think size and how you feel and how you look to yourself or to others in the mirror, because mirror's not always I still see a 300-pound Joe when I look in the mirror. But focus on size and that kind of stuff and where you want to get because that will help you not to get discouraged.
Right.
As far as figuring out what your ideal is, the problem is there really isn't anything out there. There's charts that say this is what your ideal body weight is. They haven't been updated since the 70s. So those aren't very good either. So it's more of focus on getting your body fat percentage down. I highly recommend getting a DEXA scan. If you can't find a DEXA scan, at least get like a bod pod or even a really good like in-body scan. But DEXA is always going to be the best. And find out what is your body fat percentage. Try to get your body fat percentage down under like 20%. Obviously, if you can get down to 10, 15%, that would be awesome. But try to get it down under 20% and focus on that. But I think the more important thing is like size. So like I've stopped worrying about numbers on the scale, and I'm more of like, okay, I want to make sure I'm in a medium to large shirt. I want to stay in a size 30 pants. And that's really where I focus.
Well, and yeah, because you can't, like, the number is misleading.
Yeah.
The weight is misleading because, you may get into a size way before you get to 200 pounds. So you're thinking like, we kind of pulled the numbers out of the air. Like for whatever reason, sometimes the numbers can be associated with like a time in your life where things were going really great. And you just kind of pull that number out of the air and say like, I want to be 140 pounds again or something. And so, but the problem is that it's going to look very differently too. Yeah. As we age, it changes, where is the weight on our body shifts and changes.
Okay. So Bill said,
have you put him or her?
No, I'm
definitely her, just right there, since I can't.
Can I throw her?
I can't. I can't easily leave.
Okay.
I'm stuck in.
Bill said egg shortages here in Australia seems a bit sus to have shortages worldwide at the same time.
Right. It does.
Amy said we want to travel trailers so bad, but because we live near Elkhart, we know how they're built, and were issues during COVID with their quality construction, and we never pulled the trigger. The problem during COVID was more of shortages
of like air conditioning parts.
So you had a lot of shortages on air conditioning parts and things like that. And so you had a lot of units that would get like half done and put like on hold and stuff. And so then they were trying to catch up and stuff like that. Here's the thing about RVs. If you're thinking about an RV, if you're new to, and again, not everybody needs an RV. We love RVing because it's a rolling hotel room and we can go places that like, we wouldn't
can't-
go other
right.
places. So, you know, for example, if you didn't know, if you know, they've announced the low carb cruise 2026. So low carb cruise, which will be going up for reservation soon, but it's out of Galveston next year. And I'm sitting there going, looking at when it is, and I'm like, when is the Elkhart rally for Alliance, which is usually at the end of May before Memorial Day? And I'm like, ugh, based on this, we may be driving our RV from Elkhart straight to Galveston and then find someplace to park it for a week. You know, we wouldn't be able to do that without an RV. So, but here's the thing about RVs. RVs are built by hand. You know, like, so a lot of people don't know it's not machines building them. It is actual people putting them together.
You can take a factory tour.
We have a video of a tour of how Alliance does it. Whether you buy a $15,000 RV or a $2 million motorhome, they're all going to have problems.
Right.
The reason they're going to have problems is two. One is they're built by people.
Right.
And people make mistakes.
No, I mean, not me.
You want to find a company where they work harder to not make as many mistakes and try to improve things, which is why we chose Alliance. I think they take a little bit more steps. Do some of their RVs still end up with problems? Of course they do, because you can have problems with the parts they put in and that kind of stuff. But they take accountability. They stand behind their product. I have watched them
make it right,
do warranty work for people who are out of warranty. When we were here when we were at the Florida RV Super Show, I witnessed somebody who recently lost a family member talking to the owner of Alliance, and the owner giving him his personal phone number, going, if you need anything, you call me. Just call me. Just if you want to talk, just call me. That's why we love Alliance. Yeah. But you're always going to have issues. The other thing is an RV, whether it be a towable travel trailer like we have, or a fifth wheel, which we're getting, or a Class B van, or a motorhome,
or a pop-up,
they go down the roads. Now, Amy, you live up in Indiana.
Yeah.
Okay. Those roads are some of the worst I've ever experienced in my life. And I've driven all over this country. Those roads are some of the worst I've ever experienced. So you've got this box that weighs 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 pounds going down the road.
This is like an earthquake.
With winds going on. And so it's literally like driving your house through a hurricane in the middle of an earthquake.
Right.
And so things rattle around and they come loose. And people will say, well, can't they build them to do that? Yeah, but then nobody would be able to tow them because they would weigh more. And you could use screws instead of staples, but they'd weigh more and then nobody would be able to tow it. So the key is finding the company that will stand behind their product and fix problems when they have them.
Yeah.
Matt said, note to self, don't let Chris Bear be financial stock guy. Let's see. Amy said, Joe's correct. You have to get it inspected before it leaves the lot too.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Lolo, for your congratulations on our new home.
Chris put up a video on how to use Chronometer. Easy Peasy Keto said, hello, our keto family. This evening, we had our first 2025 Easy Peasy support group. Community is so good. We all need it.
I am so glad that you guys like restarted that this year. Like, that is such an awesome thing.
Renee said, I had to start increasing fat again. Liz said, I did a local search for pasture-raised eggs, and I'm pretty excited.
Yes,
because
there's a lot.
If you live in a rural area,
even if you don't,
like everybody around here sells them for $4 to $5 a dozen.
Well, even in like the town's farmers markets and stuff, you're starting to see more of them. And Liz, it's such a fun way to like meet people in your community. Like it's just such a precious thing when I see somebody like a local person, whether it is, you know, they're a farmer, somebody that is like a farming, you know, bringing vegetables to market, you know, bringing something that they've made. It's just such a beautiful interaction that I don't know. It just feels so good to see that somebody's put so much love and care and time into bringing this precious thing, whether it's meat or it's eggs or it's, some sort of like cheese that they have made, and they've brought it to a farmer's market. That's just such a cool thing.
Chris said, give it a few months. The 2K farm is going to be overrun with chickens like Hawaii. So if you count these babies, we currently have 54 chickens.
That escalated quickly. The thing is, though,
and then 40 in an incubator.
Is that
but we're gonna sell some of the Indian
gonna sell them. So that is my thing right now, is shifting my mindset from everybody is my baby to I want to raise the friendliest, most chickens that can be handled, that can be a blessing to someone else. That's my job, I feel like, is to make it so we have chickens that are not afraid of people, can join somebody's flock, isn't going to be like the town bully, something that has been loved on and healthy. And that way, if they come to somebody else's farm, they're blessing and not a burden.
I did time the 40 babies in the incubator wrong, though. I wanted them. We wanted to sell them as day old, 2-day old at auction. Only I had all of these eggs and I didn't want to keep holding on to them for another 5 days. So I put them in the incubator last Saturday, which means they're going to hatch on a Friday. But throughout the day, right. So they won't be ready for the auction. So when they go to auction, if we don't sell them privately, they'll be a week old.
Everybody's upset about that.
Debbie said feathers on the feet can also be Faverolles. We started with 4 and have 2 left 2 years. Yes, they could be. Except we know ours are Brahmas because we don't have any Faverolles. Yeah, we have some Brahmas.
But that's one breed of chicken I have yet to have, and I'm very much looking forward to adding this.
Diane said, when are you doing an update on the house and farm? We're going to actually do some vlogging tomorrow. So Sandy said, so this is embarrassing. I want to buy Joe and Rachel a cup of coffee or 2, but I can't find where to click. Can anyone help me?
Sandy.
Should be a link in the description. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, it's not in here. I will get that for you.
Ooh.
It's in one of the other videos. Let me put it in here.
So let me know, if you were getting a chicken, you don't even need to know the breed. What do you think is the prettiest colored chicken? What is a neat chicken? Do you like them we have some that look like a patchwork quilt, to be honest. My favorite chicken is it has to do with personality. So my favorite chicken is an Isa Brown, which is basically a mixture of a Buff Orpington and a Rhode Island Red. And that's Bessie. She's just so approachable. She's definitely the chicken that if we have a little kid come onto the farm, whether, visiting friends, or if it's Peyton, I always lead with Bessie because she never pecks or never shows. She's always calm.
Go. I'll put it here in the link.
Oh, thank you. And she's always super calm. There. So she is not the most interesting chicken to look at, but she's definitely the sweetest. And I find that, we've watched a gajillion YouTube videos and everybody has this thing of, this is the best chicken for a new person. And I find that it really has more to do with just that particular chicken's personality. It's kind of like when someone says what's the best dog breed for you? And yes, you can have, whether the dog requires a big backyard or this is one that this breed would be by its size more designed for, apartment living. Obviously you can do that. And you do that with chickens too. Some are more heat tolerant. Some are, more winter tolerant. There's definitely, I like heavier chickens because they're less flighty. They're not scared. And so I enjoy that. But as far as chicken to chicken, it's a personality thing.
Yeah.
I can't guarantee you that every Isa Brown's going to be like Bessie. Sometimes people act like that.
Robin said, when I was 175 pounds on low carb, I wore size 10 to 12, so smaller than lighter.
Yeah.
Barbara said, have you started your Double K Farm page? If so, what is it called? It's called the Double K Farm, but no, we haven't, just because we have all the video footage. I've started kind of putting it together, but I just wanted to focus on
the house.
With the house.
Or I'm going
especially
to
considering we need to sell this RV, but in order to sell this RV,
we have to not be living in it.
Not be living in it. so we need to get into the house. So I will
Soon.
hopefully be working on that soon. Rush said putting them together out of wood glue and onion meal. Yeah, Dustin said Indiana roads are bad. They are.
Amy says we make fun of our roads here, like what are our taxes paying for? But then we complain when they are actually doing road construction. That is so true, Amy. Oh my goodness. We are the same way. So there's a lot of 2-lane roads because we're out in the country now. It's very different than South Florida where it's like you've got the, mega highways. And so of course we're like, they need to expand the roads to like a 4-lane, but we're in the midst of that. And I guess it's a 5-year project that we just landed in.
Yeah. Sandy, thanks for the 1999 super sticker. It's a dog in a samurai armor waving a banner saying #1.
Thank you.
Kat said, wow, here in California, the eggs at farmer markets are $10 to $12 and have been free.
Wow.
That's what they always were. But again, we're in. So people ask about Arcadia. This is cattle country.
Yeah.
Like lots of, Florida crackers.
We opened that's a particular, that sounds like a terrible word, but
no, it's a type of cattle.
It's a type of cattle.
But this is cattle country. It's very rural. Arcadia itself has a city. We actually don't live in the city. We live on the outskirts in the county, but everybody here has chickens.
It was funny.
I don't think we have a neighbor here that doesn't have chickens.
We opened up a bank account today, and the person that set up our bank account was like, why did you move here? And we were like, well, because we want to have a more peaceful life and be more self-sustainable and have like room to stretch.
Dustin said, be mindful. There are scams out there for farm fresh eggs and honey going around. If the price is too good, be mindful.
That's
absolutely true. The reason I know it's good here is because that's what everybody sells them for. Because again, so many people have chickens. And also remember, our chickens lay year round.
Yeah. That there's a lot like Vital Farms is a curator of eggs. So they're working with local farms in different areas and then it goes under the Vital Farms like brand name. And so there's a lot of farmers in this area where if they have like more than 250 chickens or not, they might get approached depending on, their farming practices of some of these egg companies where it's like, they're not growing them, but they're getting their eggs from pasture raising.
We have an old video. It may have been in a vlog where we've talked about eggs, like what are the best eggs and what should you buy? Right now you buy whatever you can, right? But really, the way I look at it is cheapest to most expensive, and then avoid everything in the middle. Cheapest eggs you could possibly find, like the ones you would find in Walmart in the big 5 dozen case.
Yep.
Organic, because organic, it basically already rules out a bunch of things. The cage-free garbage, don't bother because it's really a scam. And here's the thing: organic have to be cage-free. But the cage-free just means they're not locked in a cage, but they're still crammed up. And then the only other egg that I would ever bother looking at would be true pasture raised. When you see free range, that's a scam.
Yeah.
Because I started rewatching. So if y'all remember Morgan Spurlock with Super Size Me, well, he did another one called Super Size Me 2. And this one was where he wanted to start his own chicken restaurant. And so he goes through the whole thing about raising chickens. And I started rewatching it because I thought it was interesting.
It's very interesting.
But one of the things that he even shows is like, hey, they can have a giant warehouse with thousands of chickens. And all they literally have to do is cut a hole in the side of the wall and make a 3-foot by 3-foot space of grass. And now they can call all of their chickens free range.
Right.
Now, because free range just means they have to have access to outside. It doesn't mean they're going outside. And it doesn't need a lot of room. So if you have 5,000 chickens in a warehouse and a 3-foot by 3-foot thing with a little hole in the side wall, 99.99999% of those chickens are never going outside. But they get to call them free range. And that's why it's a scam, because then they charge you more money. So don't ever waste your money on free range eggs, especially when they're charging you more money. So buy the cheapest ones, organic, and then the best is pasture raised, which means they are living outside, eating a proper chicken diet. The one I always tell everybody to avoid at all costs is the one, I'm not going to give you the name,
fed.
where it says all vegetarian feed, because chickens aren't vegetarians.
No.
They don't only, they eat meat and a lot of it.
They prefer.
Rachel has a cut on her finger as soon as she goes to near a chick, whether it's a baby or another one, it tries to eat her. Literally.
They notice everything except for the door.
Yeah, everybody in the Bear family is sick. Carrie wanted to know, did we close on our house? Yes, we did.
Thank you.
Carrie said, I would like a chicken with all kinds of colors.
There's some different ones that have like either a partridge coloring or they call them a jubilee. And those are so beautiful. What's so striking is sometimes like just when the light hits their feathers, and they can be like an Australorp or be one that has got just mostly just all black feathers. And you're thinking, okay, this is a one note chicken. And then the light will hit them just right. And there's either like just a vivid green or a vivid blue, or even like there's one we have that's got magenta highlights, and it's so pretty. It really is.
Exposing Darkness said I couldn't have farm animals because they would have a long life until they died naturally.
Right. That's
you
me.
imagine who I'm married to?
Yeah.
Like I already told her, like, listen, the meat chickens that are coming, you're not allowed to sit here on the floor with them.
Right.
Like literally they go in the brooder, and after a week or so, they go outside. They're going to be free range. So, but they're the free ranging for them because they don't even roost. You literally are going to put them in this thing. It's called a chicken tractor. We got one that we built out of PVC,
and it moves every day.
Every day you move it, so
nice.
Every day they get fresh grass, and then in 6 weeks you slaughter them. So, like literally. Like these are not egg layers, or they're going to be gone in 6 weeks. So don't get attached to them. Don't name them. Don't sit down. We don't need them to be super friendly because in 6 weeks they're going to be meat, but these babies, like Rachel all day long is sitting with one, has one with her. It's on her shoulder. It's funny because when you turn off the lights, they all go nuts at night.
Oh, they're hilarious. They're just like toddlers. They do not want to go to bed when it is bedtime. So they just throw up a fit. So you just hear cheep, 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 cheep. And then I usually come out and I'm like, no, I'm being serious. We are going to bed. Then I'll turn the light back out again.
They're her children.
And then they will go to bed.
Lady Fritcher said, I missed the reason you're selling your RV. Are you getting a better one? Yes, we are upgrading. So here's the thing. When we bought this RV, like, this was a great upgrade. I love this RV.
It's saved our marriage.
But when we bought this RV, there was no intention to ever buy a farm.
Right.
There was no intention to move.
So we needed it to fit on the side of the house.
So it needed to fit on the side of the house. There was no intention to live in our RV. And so having done all that and all of these changes when we were at the RV show, Rachel found one that she fell in love with. It's a little bit, it's actually got more room inside lengthwise, but overall it is shorter behind my truck because it is a fifth wheel. But it just so happened, I only have an F250, so I'm very limited on a fifth wheel that I can tow. Most require at least an F350, preferably a dually. I do not want to upgrade my truck because it's paid for and we don't have a loan on it. And F350s, you're talking about $100,000 for a new truck. So this one happens to fit perfectly where we are within the legal towing capacity and cargo capacity of our truck to be able to do it. It is a fifth wheel, but we're actually putting a gooseneck on it to change it up. And so we're really excited about it. And because of all the upgrades we have on this, it's basically an even swap. It won't cost us extra money.
I am very excited to say that since we were able to sell the house, we've paid off the RV. Yeah. Which is neat.
Sarah said Happy Eggs does the same thing as Vital Farms. Yes, it does. Sabrina said, does Tabitha stay in the RV with you? I haven't seen her in a while. Yeah, she stays. So Tabitha all day long is outside. She is swimming, laying with the chickens,
gave her a bath,
hanging out with the turkeys,
immediately into the pond.
She chewing sticks. That's her favorite. Her favorite hobby is to go find sticks and chew on them,
and greeting anyone who comes
and greeting anybody. But she comes in the RV at night. We're not in the RV all day long. I'm in the house working. Rachel's working on the farm. So she is always with one of us, but she comes in the RV at night. The only thing is she doesn't like to go up the steps. So I have to lift her up the steps.
So she's
like afraid of the metal steps.
But she is so great with the babies. She immediately makes sure that whoever's the newest members of the farm know that she is the nanny dog, and she makes sure that she sniffs them all and lets them like peck at her, and she lays down at the foot where she sleeps is right beside their box, because she's always around them. And when we ever like bring new animals outside where they're on the grass for the first time, she lays right beside where they're outside for the first time, because she knows that those are the most vulnerable animals on the farm. Even when we opened up the door to let the teenagers explore, she stood between the teenagers and all the other animals, just because she knows these are the littlest. Okay, everybody play nice.
Lady Fritzy said, where do meat chickens sleep if they don't roost? On the ground.
Yeah.
So meat chickens, specifically meat chickens, they actually grow very fast. Now the ones we're getting are bred a certain way so that they don't have this issue, but a lot of the ones that you can get and that you see in the stores, when they get to a certain weight, like if you let them go longer than about 8 weeks,
they're gonna die on their own.
They can't walk anymore. They can't even stand on their legs.
They're breeding them with giant breasts.
They're bred to have these big breasts, and so they can't even walk anymore. The ones we're getting, they're a Cornish cross. That is not bred into them, but they grow very quickly. Now, if you were to let them keep going so that you can have eggs, then they would end up following natural instincts and roosting and stuff like that. But, because you're slaughtering them so quickly, they don't roost. You don't need nesting boxes because you're going to slaughter them before they ever get to eggs. Because, again, 20 weeks to 24 weeks is when you're normally going to get eggs from chickens, and they will be slaughtered long after. It's just like turkey. A lot of the turkey you buy in the store, they can't even reproduce. They have to be artificially
broad-breasted turkeys versus heritage breed. So we have heritage breed turkeys, so they don't look as big as the ones that you're going to see in the grocery store, because they're not bred to have that giant chest. But what I like about a heritage breed is the fact that they can do all of the natural things that a turkey, I feel, should do. Like, so when you have a broad-breasted turkey, you have to even set up their feeders differently because of the fact that they can't lean down, peck at the ground, and like be able to stand back up after
grass.
a while.
Turkeys eat a lot of grass.
So I'm glad that our turkeys can just kind of have a turkey life.
Lolo said, my local store was out of Vital Farm, so my son brought those vegetarian fed chicken eggs. I told them no, chickens aren't vegetarians.
It's not, there's nothing wrong with them. It's just a case of that they're clearly trying to sell that to you to be like, hey, this is even better than the normal, because we're being, I don't know, like environmentally responsible with our chickens, because they're vegetarian. Even our chickens are vegetarians. So I think it's more of like a marketing ploy to make you think that they're getting fed better feed, but that is not the case.
Aaron said, you guys should train Tabitha to keep the pesky turkeys in the yard.
You are so right, because she literally is like, okay, have a great day, guys. Like, I think she's packing a lunch for them, because she should be stopping them from doing that.
Liz wants to know, do you guys eat turkey eggs too? So
we
the turkeys don't lay.
Yeah.
They're not laying
yet.
They'll start laying soon. So turkeys don't lay year round. So they'll start, and then they'll lay 2 or 3 clutches and then be done. And so once they start laying a clutch, they'll lay their whole clutch, and then and then they'll sit on them. They don't actually start incubating until the last egg of the clutch is done. I'll probably eat 1 or 2 just to
see what it's like. Yeah.
But honestly, we want turkeys, because locally, turkeys, like 4-month-old turkeys, sell for about $100 to $150 per turkey. So our goal is to sell some of them. And if you sell them, because we're going to end up getting a Florida permit to be able to sell poultry, like eggs and poultry. But if you sell a turkey at Thanksgiving, a 16 to 17 pound pasture raised turkey for Thanksgiving dinner sells for approximately $250, and people pay it.
Yeah.
Not me,
Right.
but people do pay it. Like there's a local farm that like they're already sold out for this coming year.
Well, and the nice thing is that like you just until you have the order, you do not slaughter the animal, obviously. So like that's a good thing too, is that you know that it's going to be fresh and it's going to be, like there's a person that wants it. You're not just like growing animals for no reason.
Lynn said, did you ever consider capons? We raised them when I was little. Fixed roosters.
I have not considered that. I need to check those out, Lynn.
Rush said, what the hell for? Why would you want to pay $250 for turkey pasture raised?
Yeah, because
there's a lot of like
people trying to be more like aggressive about like their food and
like,
what they eat. And
I don't know why people want to eat the fancy Wagyu, like, Japanese beef.
Right. But they're just
like beef is
panda
beef
massage.
To, it's like, what Dr. Berry calls panda massage. But when it's even chicken. So like we're all used to chickens. Like you go to the grocery store, you pay $5 for chicken, right? Pasture raised chickens, if you want it, they're $25 for a pasture raised chicken. A chicken that is not raised in a feedlot, $25. Now, if you go to the grocery store and find chickens, you're going to see those chickens are usually injected with dextrose. They have a lot of water injected to plump them up, make them look bigger than they are.
Our chickens are just heavy.
So I have done all of the math on the chickens that we're getting. $2 per chicken as a baby 1 day old chick. And then for 25 chickens, you're looking at 7 pounds of food per day to get them to their weight in 7 weeks. So in the end, my cost to raise 25 chickens, pasture raised chickens, is $8.
Right.
So it's $8 a chicken is my cost to raise my own meat. That doesn't take into account the hour or so a day that you need to go out there to move them, to feed them, to do their water. And then, so even at $10 an hour, at that point, we're like over $30 a bird.
Right.
Okay. Then you have to factor in the slaughtering, the packaging, and all that. That's why they're expensive.
It's always going to be a labor of love too. But I think it's important to be a part of like, the part of the process, especially for someone who eats mostly meat. Like this isn't what I have been looking forward to the most, is the getting to that point where we're going to be like slaughtering our own animals. But it's important, I think, that we do that. A lot of times you hear from outside people outside the keto community that are like, people who are keto are not animal lovers, but I think that's couldn't be further from the truth, because we want healthy, like well-fed animals, grown responsibly, like treated humanely, because they're our food. Like that's our medicine. That's our food. That's like, what we thrive on, right?
Lady Frister said, you're probably going to be able to get some great farming tax credits and exemptions and credits. So we really have to get cattle or sheep or goats. I talked to the tax guy actually yesterday, because we have something in Florida called homestead exemption, where you get a discount on your taxes and you get to transfer old houses. Problem is, if we switch to a farming credit, you lose everything we've built up since owning homes.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's worth it.
The portability, you lose your portability if you ever don't own a farm again. But he said for our lot, we'd have to have over 1,000 chickens. And so he was like, now cattle, you only need 2 cattle. So it's like 2 cattle, 10 to 12 sheep. So Lisa said I can get pasture raised turkey locally for about $85. Last year, my son helped harvest some with a friend, and we got one for free. That's awesome.
How nice.
Liz said, has anybody noticed the difference between various chicken brands in reference to texture and taste? I've got to figure out what chicken I cooked a week ago. It was awful.
That is not like, that is not a crazy investment of your time, Liz. Like, we've talked about before how like Michelle, they had gotten like a half a share of a cow, and she's like, man, I just did not enjoy the ground beef as much from this cow. And so the next time it was time to fill their freezer again, she went to like local farms and basically was like, "Can I buy 5 pounds of your ground beef from each one?" It was a beef tasting. But she's like, "You know what? This is a major investment. We eat this a lot." And so I just want to make sure that I like the specific taste of it. We have heard that although like with the heritage breed turkey versus a broad breasted, as much as my mom was like, well, we're only ever getting a butterball because butterball, it tastes best to her.
It's injected with more dextrose.
I from what I understand, heritage breed turkeys are very tasty. There's a richness to them. It's kind of like, you definitely
what do they
notice the
eat? Where are they
difference.
raised? It's like one of the reasons we chose this property, even though we knew the house had to be gutted. This was a farm. This has like the pond and all the trees. A lot of the ones we looked at with brand new homes were old orange groves.
Right.
And so number one, it's going to be all very sandy, but our thing was how many chemicals have been sprayed on that
I don't want my
property over the
chickens eating
year,
that.
and we want livestock and grow stuff. I don't want those chemicals in my food.
I just love seeing them. I've watched Dr. Barry's channel for like raising sheep, and it's amazing to see what they're choosing based on what's going on in their own system. And so it's neat to see like what different chickens at different times, like the little flower tips or different leaves or things that they prefer, and they kind of everybody kind of heads to different parts of the land, and they're really intent on something that they're eating. I think that's kind of cool.
Renee said I had a hard time eating my chicken eggs. I don't think I can eat one of the girls.
Yeah, it's definitely like going to be challenging.
I have a couple that I'm ready to because I don't think they're producing eggs. They're getting until the spring, and then they'll just be gone. Rachel won't even know.
I'm gonna be gone.
Kathy said, "Where's Matt? I think you need to do one push-up for every time Joe says slaughter."
Right? He says it a lot. I know that he's just trying to make me like desensitized to that thought process. Robin is so right. I can just see ranches setting up beef tastings like wineries do wine tastings. I think that is so brilliant, right? I was reading an article in a local magazine about agritourism and how there needs to be an adjustment here in South Florida. We were primarily here, it was they raised cattle and they grew oranges, and a lot of the citrus farms are closing down, which is what's making so many of the 5-acre parcels that was formerly orange groves available for so cheap in this area. And so people were like, well, what do you shift to? And people are talking about like making your farm available for people to visit, see how things are made, like sell eggs, like have cows, and be able to do, what you're saying there, like a wine tasting, only like a food tasting of whatever it is that you grow. I mean, we do already see things like, goat yoga different people have, or like different things where it's like petting zoos or interactions with animals. But I think it's a really cool opportunity for us to help all people get a little bit closer to their food sources and what it takes to responsibly grow fruits, vegetables, and of course, animals.
Lady Fritzler said, "What is the most humane way to dispatch a chicken?" Killing cone. So it's a cone, and you put them in there. As soon as you turn a chicken upside down, they basically go in a trance.
They go like limp,
and then a very sharp razor straight across the neck, and like they're gone.
Yeah.
And then you just bleed them out 30 seconds and you're done.
You can have the most ornery, and it was hard to like pick up a bird this way for the first time. But if you have
you grab them by the feet and hold them upside down, they just
literally just stop moving. They just stop moving, stop having a fit. They just literally like go limp. It reminds me of when we were growing up, and going to the beach all the time. You get like a little crab, and if you could turn him over and like rub his little belly, he'd kind of, go to sleep. That's kind of how it is. It's just instant.
It's kind of like me.
Calm
Lay me on
down.
my back and rub my belly. Okay, we're caught up on comments. I wanted to talk about something. Some people here in Florida may have seen this. I'll talk about that in a minute. But there was a news article on the local news station the other day about how red meat is causing cancer and that we need to eat more fake meat.
More Impossible Burger.
But I mean, it was just this whole thing about...
Sponsored in part by...
So it actually talked about Carnivore and this person who ended up with these cholesterol things. And then because there was like a national thing about this person who had like said he was carnivore, and then like you can see the cholesterol in his hands and stuff. But this article went on more talking about like how red meat and eating a lot of meat is horrible for not just your heart. And again, it talked about that eating eggs causes your cholesterol to go up, and that we need to stop eating all of this meat and stuff. And I just wanted to kind of give you guys a warning that with everything going on in government, no matter what side you are on,
right,
you're seeing a lot more of this propaganda come up about like not eating a ketogenic lifestyle, not eating a carnivore lifestyle, that we need to get it more into man-made meats and the what they're calling plant-based meat is what they're calling it. I think it's interesting is like Bill Gates, who is one of the biggest proponents, has a lot of money in these companies, and outwardly says we need to stop eating meat, but he is not a vegan.
That seems weird.
But he says meat's fine, but eat plant-based meat. Don't eat regular meat. But he says it for environmental reasons.
Okay.
He's like, it's not that the meat is bad for you. It's that eating meat ruins our environment, which is so not true.
I just wish that
I'm sorry, but those plant-based meats are 10 times worse for the environment than a cow. 10 times worse.
I just wish that if you make a statement like that, if you're doing a story like that, that you would also give more of an effort to literally speaking with anybody who has been keto or carnivore for any extended period of time, and just say, like, verify if that's true. Like, something that I love about Dave Feldman, and the COSI conference is actually next weekend, I think, is coming up. So just so incredible. If you're going there, I think you still have the opportunity to sign up for that if you live in Las Vegas or Arizona, any of those surrounding areas. It's going to be in Las Vegas. It's going to be amazing. But he's going to be showing the documentary that they put together. And so he, of course, has done a lot of research on people like me who are lean mass hyper responders, people who have what normal cholesterol readings would say is like super elevated cholesterol. And so he did his due diligence. Once he got information from talking to enough people in America, he didn't end his research there, but he actually got on planes and went all over the world to talk to other people who have similar, cholesterol numbers, and just see what they're doing, how healthy are they, like what is going on in their life. And it just is so upsetting when someone's like, well, this is super dangerous. If you ever eat meat, it's dangerous. And it's like, have you talked to anybody else that's eating meat? Because I feel like we're very available. We make ourselves very, very available. So I wish that more, if you're going to do a story on something, that you get both sides of that story.
Bonnie said, have you seen the fake ads where Dr. Berry is supposedly selling a homemade Manjaro?
Oh my gracious.
It isn't his distinctive voice. They have these with Dr. Oz, and I thought he was a sellout. Yeah, you have to, that's unfortunately these companies, you see the Shark Tank ones for like keto gummies and stuff, and so like there is a Facebook ad for like liver capsules with Dr. Berry's face on it.
It's actual liver.
And I actually did message Nisha to make sure it wasn't a company that was like using his image, and she said they actually gave him permission because Dr. Berry likes those liver capsules.
Yeah.
But if you see something Like, it is blatantly like, this is not Dr. Barry.
Message them.
My suggestion is to email them.
Let them know.
And let them know, hey, you might want to be aware of this, because unfortunately you do get these less than, scrupulous people, that try to take advantage of this stuff.
Well,
and his name is out there, and they're like, oh, let me just plaster his face on there.
Well, and sometimes, I mean, AI is like amazing, but at the same time, you can you see it all the time where you'll see ads for things where they're like, hey, take a picture of yourself in your home in your pajamas, and then we will take that picture and turn it into like professional business photos of you in different settings, that it's like it started with a picture of you, but now like here you are in front of a place that you've never been before.
AI scares me. And I think it can be awesome, but it also it really frustrates me. It's like every time you go down Facebook and you see these, a lot of people use AI for just to have fun. It's like movies that are coming soon, but they're not really movies.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Like, it's like Lethal Weapon 25. But some of them, like there was like a Harry Potter one.
I was so mad about the Harry Potter one.
So
I thought it was real.
No, it's not really true. Like the one I recently saw, which I don't know if anybody else has watched, there's like the Has Fallen series, like Angel Has Fallen, with who is in that? You have Morgan Freeman,
Gerard
Butler, and they never made the next movie because of COVID. And they kept saying it's going to come out, and I'm like, when is it coming out? And I saw like a Facebook ad for one.
You're like,
but it's not. It's AI generated.
I got so upset about the Harry Potter one because it was like it was supposed to be that like the next generation, and like Harry and Hermione and Ron were all going to come back, resume their roles so that they could send their kids to Hogwarts. And it was like, I mean, I followed it down the rabbit hole, and it was like, no, it's not real. I was so upset.
Chris said, oh, you mean the Coastline Conference that Rachel doesn't want to go to because she doesn't want to go to the Brazilian barbecue?
That's exactly
Can you believe she went to Brazilian barbecue without me the other day?
I know, I'm a terrible person.
I really are.
I am so disappointed that we're not going to be in Las Vegas, but if we do not get this house done.
Lady Fritz said Carnivore does seem to exploding right now, meaning a lot of people are trying it. Yeah.
I have so much hope. So here's the thing. And you guys are the best at this. The Too Crazy Ketos family is hands down the best at welcoming people and lovingly guiding people that are new. And so whatever version, if you're new here, whatever version of keto or low carb that you're doing, number one, pat yourself on the back, because it is going to be so much better than anything we were eating pre-keto. So don't worry about being perfect. That is like the best advice I could give you, is like, do not worry about getting everything perfect. Like, just focus on eating meat, some vegetables for entertainment purposes, if that's something that you like, and then get into community, like join our Mighty Networks, make sure that because it's free, but you need community. Yeah. I feel like that is the best thing. And then when you're in community can help you decide what is a waste of money or attention or energy, and what are things that you maybe want to consider taking into account. Right. I think that's really awesome. As much as people cheering on other people, it really helps within the Too Crazy Ketos family how many times I see people share coupons, share places where they can get a good value on the meat that they're buying at the grocery store, but also things where people are like, don't waste your time. Don't waste your money, because I tried this and it just didn't work for me. Okay, before we get off, I just Chris said, let's get Joe going on the Divergent series. No, let's not. Divergent. Never finished that series. That so would ridiculous. That would troll you though. That would. If someone did an AI thing of that, you would totally fall down. I would know, because they're never going to finish the series, because the last movie did so bad. He loved Divergent. They decided that they were going to make the final episode a made for TV. And all of the actors and actresses said, we didn't sign on for a made-for-TV movie. We signed up for a movie, so we're not coming back. There is no end to the Divergent series. Okay, let's end with this one. Yes. Lisa said, Dr. Barry said the fact that
that the fact ad that is out there is AI, and the lawyer said unless he wants to spend a huge amount of money, there's nothing he can do.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate.
That's the real, when Joe's mom got like so screwed over by like a contractor working on her house. I think that's part of another reason why we're just like do everything ourselves, right? But she was like, well, this is so wrong. And he took me for so much money. And the lawyer's like,
more than $250,000.
He was like, the lawyer was like, I am going to have mercy on you and tell you it is so wrong what was done.
You can sue him.
You can
but
sue
you're
him,
never going to collect.
And you will totally win.
But you'll never collect.
But you'll never collect. And so you'll
owe me money. He's as a lawyer.
You'll owe me money. You're just going to have basically the satisfaction of knowing that you were right and he was wrong to do that. Yeah. But it doesn't even guarantee an apology.
Okay, we're going to get off, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. So we will be back live on Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern time for Keto Beyond the Couch.
We love you guys.
Bye.